Hello everyone. We are now getting at the very end of the peak summer here in central Indiana. So I thought this would be a good time to show you guys an update of all my outside shrimp and guppy ponds. Now, some good, some bad. Guppies yay, shrimp eh. So let's see what we got so far. So this is my bigger, so not huge, it's probably about 400 gallons, I'm guessing. My in-ground pond that I've had for years and years and years. It used to always be my goldfish pond, and this year I decided to start doing guppies seasonally in it. And you can see this one is looking spectacular. And then we have the two 100-gallon Rubbermaid stock tank ponds. And there, you can see here, quick glance at them first, we'll dive deeper into this. They look pretty bare now. There is life in these, even though right now we're not seeing anything. We'll come back later at night, and I've discovered finding a shrimp at night is a lot easier with a super bright flashlight. So that first one was a Bloody Mary pond, and this is a blue jelly. And, you know, they're both about the same. Alright, let's throw some food in here and watch these guppies eat. There's also shrimp in here, and we'll get to those at night. Let's talk about the guppy pond here, the big in-ground pond. And you can see, to my amazement, I mean, I simply cannot believe just how crystal clear this thing has become. It's more clear than my tanks. Now, you'll see why here in a minute with the filter setup that's going on. But, I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, the water clarity here is beyond my wildest dreams. Even with a UV clarifier, I never had this thing this clear before. Goldfish, but I've done the filter a little bit differently than I used to do. But just look at that. I mean, this is almost 4 foot deep right there in that one section. And, I mean, it's clear as glass. The water lilies are doing good. They've been blooming. I mean, just take a look at that water lily there. Oh my goodness. These are I think these have got to be my favorite flower of all flowers. These things are so beautiful. And now, right here, this is the very reason why this pond is crystal clear, even though it gets full sun. Right here, look at this filter. It's all full of rocks. And then we have this sweet flag. It's actually variegated sweet flag and mini cattails growing up inside the filter. And there you can see the pump tube coming from the pump, coming out the back, going down in there. Just look how thick that stuff is. That stuff's like 4 foot tall, thick as can be. It just blows my mind how good that stuff does. And then I did impatiens out here like I've done inside, and I've done them outside before, and they kind of struggled. In fact, most of them died, but they had flowers on them, and they self-seeded. So now I have little baby seedling impatient flowers growing up everywhere in the filter. That's kind of cool. Alright, so let's take a look at this waterfall we got going on here. And sometimes it gets covered in algae. And look at that, you can see the water splashing out. But that works out perfect. I seem to lose like a couple inches of water a couple times a week if it don't rain. Due to evaporation, a little bit of water splashing out, that works out perfect because I just top it off a couple times a week. Look at that. There's so many guppies in there eating. It looks like it's raining outside. These guppies, oh my gosh. But look at the water lilies. They're really starting to take off. They're hitting their peak season. They peak at the very end of the summer because it takes them all year to get going. And then they peak. And then just look at those guppies. Now, oh my gosh, I got some footage I want to show you. It'll blow your mind. Like this line of guppies, this is a line of guppies I'm trying to create myself. So let's take a look at these. I'm super excited, I can't say. So let's take a quick glance underwater to see just how many guppies are in here now. We got some adults starting to color up. But as you'll see here, there's just clouds and clouds of fry. I'm getting concerned at the end of the year. I might have too many guppies to know what to do with. Oh my goodness. So I pulled some out. This video is from last week to see what we got here, and you can see we got some consistency. Pretty good. Now the one with the yellow tail's kind of but still pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good. I'm about 2 years into this project of trying to create this line, and I think I've got it overall set in pretty good, and now it's just getting it into perfecting it and getting uniformity. But I think we're good. We're on the right track, that's for sure. So that clip from last week, I was trying to pick out colored adults. So now let's just do a complete random scoop. Those look pretty good, but let's dig out some more. Let me set this down. Get the net. Just look at all those guppies. Oh my goodness. Now let's just do a totally random swishing the net around. Whatever ends up in the net ends up in there. Wow. So over the winter, I worked on getting the best group of breeders I could to put out here for the summer. And I'm pretty happy with this consistency. I mean, really overall, these guppies are pretty spectacular. It's even better than I'd hoped. So I'd say probably like 80% of these fish all have the same granddad or great granddad or dad. So very highly selective. And then the other 20%, I keep a colony that's highly culled but still a colony to keep the genetic diversity going. I add those in there so we don't get too inbred too quick. So we're getting there. Look at these guys. Oh my goodness. Just pretty wild. They're all super healthy. They're all super active. As far as guppies go, pond season has been a massive, massive, massive success. I am so thrilled. So let's see if we can find some shrimp to talk about. Now, as good as the guppies are gone, the shrimp, on the other hand, you know, like I said earlier, the only best way I have discovered to find these guys is come out here at night with a flashlight. Because there's so much algae and stuff in these. There might be hundreds in there. You can't tell. But I really don't think there's that many in there. And to be fair, I only started with like around 20. Because I didn't want to. I had my doubts this would work. There's so much life going on in here. I see like aquatic, like beetle larva looking things. I'm sure predaceous and probably catching lots of shrimp. And now this is the Bloody Marys. You can see there's some in there still, but I'm not sure if there's even more in there than I started out with. Again, we won't know until we pull all this crap out of here to find out for sure. And the shrimp, they'll be good out here till November, or at least maybe even into December. I'll probably start working on clearing them out, pulling them out in November, I imagine. Maybe October, depends on what the weather looks like. But as long as they don't freeze, they are not going to die. They'll quit breeding. And so it'll be kind of pointless to keep them out here other than to see if we can get some to grow up. And then let's look at the blue jellies over here. They're always over in this corner here. Oh, where did my light go? Okay. You can see, again, it's the same story. I think this one might be doing a little bit better. At first, I thought the Bloody Marys were doing better. But now I think I'm seeing more shrimp in this, in the blue jelly one, than I am in the Bloody Mary pond. So, you know, the shrimp stuff, I had my doubts, and I was hoping for better, but it's not a complete disaster. But I don't think doing it, at least not doing it this way, I don't think it's worth the time and effort it took. So, if I do outside shrimp again, it'll definitely be in a different way. Probably with more shade cover, for sure. This algae is just, oh my goodness. I mean, I try ripping it out, but it don't do no good. It just grows back as fast as you can pull it out. In the heat of the day and the bright sun, that stuff it pearls and floats up to the surface. And, looking to find more groups of them, but you can see it's just hard to find. I think there's too much other stuff going on here that's messing with the shrimp. And my water's super, super hard and rainwater. I think it's just too much fluctuation temp and water chemistry. So let's go see what the big pond looks like at night. Check it out. And there are shrimp in here, believe it or not. So let's see if we can find some shrimpies. There's usually always some right over here. Gotta get the camera zoomed in a little bit. Like that. There we have some red shrimps. Even with all these hundreds and hundreds of guppies in here, I think the shrimp are still doing better in this than in the stock tanks. So I think what I'm going to try to do now, Indiana winters, I'm going to try to keep. Now, goldfish used to live in here all the time, all winter, because I made it deep enough that it wouldn't freeze all the way through. So I'm going to try to build some kind of a cover over here, like a greenhouse cover over this one this year. Because obviously the guppies aren't going to, I got to pull all those guys out in the end of September, beginning of October, maybe even a little before that. But I'm going to see if I can keep it covered and see if we can keep some shrimp alive over winter out here. Keep it from freezing too deep. I'm sure it'll still get a little bit of ice on it, but we got shrimp in here doing good. And I put some blue jellies in here, and I didn't see any forever. And then I put a few random reds in here, and now I'm seeing reds and even blue jellies again. So this is how I spent a lot of the evenings this summer, sitting out here and enjoying the pond here in the water. And Bailey, she likes sitting out here and enjoying it too. So thank you guys for checking out my ponds. Thanks for watching. Bye.